All right, joining us now from his apartment in East Lansing is the all-time assist leader in Big Ten history, the 2019 Big Ten Player of the Year. He's the All-American point guard of your Michigan State Spartans. It is Cassius Winston. Cassius, we have to start here. A week ago, we all found out together that the NCAA tournament was canceled. This was your senior year. You guys were playing well, all of that. Take us through how you found out, what your emotions were, just that whole period of time where you basically found out your career ended not on a basketball court.
Oh yeah. We practiced the morning of getting ready to go to the tourney, and like before the end of practice, like they told us that the Big Ten tourney was canceled. So like we still practicing though. So we were still practicing, and like we knew the tourney was over. So we like, all right, we're gonna finish practice, and we finished practice on a good note. He told us the news, and then like we kind of just sat in the locker room like, okay, it's not all that bad, by the time we'll be able to go to the tourney and play. And then I think maybe like 2 hours later, like I was at the crib and they just told us that, yeah, your season's over. Like it's canceled. They brought us back to the Breslin Center. We had a huge meeting. Coach was crying. Guys were sad. Like we were just like, we were just shocked, like the season really ended. Like that's it. Like it was just a huge shock.
And it's crazy, Cassius, too, because like you mentioned it being a shock, but like today is the Thursday that the tournament would actually start. You know what I mean? And I think, for Titus and I, this is the time that we talk about, all these games, and we're usually watching a million games, and obviously you're usually playing in this and you're watching all the games that they happen. But it just feels like this weird sense of calm that's all over everything, right? I mean, there's really nothing to do other than play video games.
Yeah, definitely. It's like everything just stopped. Like I don't know, like the world almost just stopped. Like all I can do right now, I've been playing Warzone, Call of Duty. On Call of Duty, I've been playing that a lot. Me and my brother. So that's kind of how I've been filling my time, just figuring out what's next.
You've been big time. You've been prime time with the Michigan State for the past 3 or 4 years, or 4 years, pretty much since you got there on campus. But this season there was so much hype going into it because Titus and I have talked about this multiple times. It's been 20 years since a Big Ten team was able to get a title. And obviously that team was the Flintstones, with Coach Izzo and that Michigan State team. So going into the season, having to carry that, that burden, I guess, going into the season, is it nice that you don't have to worry about that anymore? I mean, it's not your fault. In my mind, you guys would have won.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice that I could say that, we had a chance to do it. Nobody could take that away from us. In our eyes, I think we was going to win the national championship. So I guess nobody will ever know. We were playing really good basketball. We had all the things that we kind of needed to make a run. So, in my eyes, I'm going to say we accomplished everything. We lived up to the hype, and all that.
Can you explain to us how that works? You said you guys were playing great basketball. Obviously, you were preseason #1 team in the country. You had your ups and downs throughout the year, but then you found a way to peak in March. And this is a thing that Coach Izzo always seems to figure out. And those of us in the media that cover college basketball, we kind of like laugh at it. That no matter how bad Michigan State might look in December or January, we know that come March, you guys are going to be playing good basketball. From behind closed doors, how does that work? Is this like – I have a theory that Coach Izzo has manufactured adversity where he like tells you guys to lose games on purpose and so he can use it as teaching moments throughout the season. From your perspective, why is it that Michigan State, after spending 4 years there, why is it that you guys always seem to be playing your best basketball come March?
I mean, adversity is a actual true word. We go through so much in the season. Like we play the toughest early preseason schedule. So like it's either one of those games. Like you could lose either one of those games in our preseason. So sometimes we win them, sometimes we lose them. But it's never like we're getting blown out or anything like that. Like we're competing, and then you play those games, and then you go into the Big Ten, which is a dogfight every night. So you're playing against battling teams. You got freshmen who out there don't know what they're really doing. You got guys who in new positions each year because, a guy that was a star or key piece last year. We had guys who didn't even play last year had to turn into key pieces. So all those things are kind of happening. And, all the outside world sees us, that's Michigan State, and Michigan State always doing this, always doing that. But we're like working towards that through the whole year. Yeah. And like that's our whole mindset.
Here's another thing I've always been fascinated with Coach Izzo is the arm around the shoulder when you get called over the sideline. He's like, Cassius, come here. We got to talk about something. And you go over and you're standing during a free throw or something, and you throw your arm around his shoulder, and you're like, what's up, coach? And this is something that Mateen Cleaves did, Draymond did, Denzel Valentine. It's something that all the guys seem to do. But But I'm always fascinated by, like, how do you get the right to do that? Is that something that, like, does coach call you into his office? He's like, Cassius, we need to talk. I now give you the permission to throw your arm around my shoulder during a free throw.
No,
Or is it like, what is it the first time you do that and you just go for it? You're like, screw it, I'm doing it. And you just throw your arm around his shoulder. What is that process?
Honestly, it's a tip that the older guys kind of give to the younger guys, because when you go, you're gonna be acting crazy. You know you already know he gonna come after you. So if you get over there and put your arm around his shoulder, like, he kind of like calm him down a little bit, like, so he can relax a little bit. So that's why all the guys told me, like, when you go over there, look him in his eyes, put your arm around his shoulder, and it won't be as bad as what it usually be.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, we need that. We need more of that. You pointed out, Titus just brought up all those other guys. I mean, Draymond, Denzel Valentine, Mateen Cleaves, all these other guys that have been in the, the Tom Izzo, tree of, Michigan State greats. Where do you consider yourself, in that list of guys? Because we said that you're on the Mount Rushmore, which obviously only has 4 spots. So we think you're in the top 4. But can you just go ahead and put out to the world that you think you're, official in that Mount Rushmore? Or are you going to be modest and say that you don't know?
Yeah, talk some smack.
Talk some junk.
Y'all ain't going to catch me saying that. I'm going to let somebody else say that.
What was the senior – in all seriousness, what was the senior night like? Like, being in the building, I was telling Tate, you could tell that, like, first of all, no one left. None of the Michigan State fans left. And you could say that that's, like, Coach Izzo was doing his best to say this is a tradition of Michigan State. None of the fans ever leave on senior night. But, come on, we know that, like, the real reason everyone is sticking around is for you, and you're so beloved on that campus. You feel the love, I'm sure, at Michigan State. What was that like, just kind of knowing it was your last time in the Breslin Center, which, as it turned out, being your last time even putting the jersey on, to be there and to see, what was it, like 45 minutes after the game ends, it's still a crowded, the place is packed, people are going nuts for you. Just that whole emotion, what is that like for you?
It was unreal. It felt like a movie, kind of. Like, the whole day just felt like somebody was watching me. Like, it was all planned. It was all destined out for it to end like this. Like, I don't know. Something about it felt like almost like unreal, like a movie. Like, my whole family was there, played a game, won a championship. Happened to be my last game ever, college game ever. Like, all of that was just kind of like somebody set that up. So it was a lot of emotion. It was a lot of fun. It was definitely a good day.
No, I was going to say, Cash, is like, what's next for you? Like, obviously, we're chilling in the quarantine right now, and we're figuring that all out. But, like, is there anything, like, we got Tum Tum. I know Tum Tum's working with the team now and is around all the time. Like what is your plan to stay around East Lansing? Like, is there any sort of, like, immediate stuff that you're looking toward, because we want to keep up with you. We want to know what's next.
Yeah, definitely. Probably meet with some agents, sign with an agent, start getting ready for the draft. That's the ultimate goal, is to go play at the NBA. So I'm gonna try to figure out when the gym and things like that. Stuff around here kind of on shutdown right now. So, but it kind of happened at a good time, because I usually take a week and a half off after the anyway. So just waiting for things to open back up and get ready.
Love it.
Yeah, that's got to be weird, man. Preparing for the NBA draft when we don't even know if the draft's gonna be when it's supposed to be, and we don't know when you can work out, and if there's a combine and all that kind of stuff. That's crazy.
It's a lot of unknowns right now. So I'm kind of just waiting. Like I said, just waiting.
Hey, we mentioned earlier that you were in Maui. Also in Maui was the Dayton Flyers and Obi Toppin, who is a lot of people's pick for National Player of the Year. And the only guy that seems to be able to beat him is Luka Garza, who's in the Big Ten, who you also played. So you were in Maui. I don't know how much you paid attention to Dayton when you were in Maui, because you were probably getting yelled at by Coach Izzo the whole time. But what is your where do you fall on the Obi Toppin versus Luka Garza debate, Cassius? We need to hear it from a guy, an All-American, weighing in on this. Who are you taking for National Player of the Year if it's those two guys? On the spot. He's doing the calculation of, like, how do I answer this without making people mad?
Garza was crazy this year, but I might have to take Toppin. Just the kind of the control he had over, like, college basketball. Like, that's hard to do. So, like, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of what gets you that award. So I have to go with him. But Garza was crazy this year.
He went between his legs in a game.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
He had something, like, he's, like I said, he was just must see TV, and, like, that's what you got to be.
How many career dunks do you have?
Zero.
Zero in high school too?
Yeah. In the game, yeah. In the game.
That's awesome.
I've dunked before. Just ain't nothing.
That's awesome. That's actually a point of pride. I think you should never.
Keep
Have
it
you
that
ever
way.
tried? Have you ever thought about it? Have you ever
It's
had
a
a
real
fast
hard.
break where you're like, this might?
Nah,
Never.
I never really crossed my mind. Nah, just give out easy too.
2 points are 2 points, baby. You don't get style points. That's not how
I
it
love
works.
that. Cassius Winston, Mr. Fundamentals.
For the best access, perspective, and personalities in all of sports, follow us at Fox Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.